Hey y'all, welcome to CNC Made Easy. I'm going to walk you through some real basic CNC codes. Alright, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to make this square part here. As you can see, we've got a block 4 inch by 4 inch. We're going to make our starting point for a cutting tool 1 inch away on both the X and the Y direction. Alright, the codes we're going to use today, we're going to use G0, which is a rapid movement, and G1, which is a linear movement controlled by a feed rate. Okay? Alright, so let's get started. I use CNC Discriminator to show you the basic plot outline. Alright, so I've already got a new file open, which you can do by clicking over here. And I got my plot graphics open, which you get by clicking here. As you can tell, I'm on a mill, and I'm looking down on the part. So you got X, you got Y. Okay? Discriminator is actually a free software you can just pick up anywhere on the internet. It's a good thing you can type out and play with. You can see the different functions, how they work, where your tool is going to move when you type in certain G codes and stuff. Okay? So, as you can tell, we've already got our percentage sign up. All your programs should be starting with this. It's a good protocol based on the different ages of the machine. Some will take it, some will just ignore it, but it's best to have it. Alright? We're going to name our programs. We're going to go O, so it's a capital O, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll put in brackets, which is this good way to communicate to your operator without the machine reading it. 4 inch block. Okay. Now our first line is what I call a safety line. Basically it resets any of the codes that might be lingering from previous programs. Alright. I go with G0, so that eliminates any of your feed rate codes like a G1 or G2, any of that stuff. Okay, G17, which tells the machine we're machining from the top, so Z is in a down direction. And then you've got X, Y as you see on the screen, with X going left and right, and Y going up and front and back on the machine. Alright, okay, so G20 tells the machine we're going to work in inches. G40 cancels any cutter compensation. Now with cutter compensation, what happens is based on the code you put in, your tool will either move to the left or to the right based on the diameter value you've got written in the machine for the tool. Okay? This cancels it, so it's basically going to cut on tool center. Next one is G49, which cancels height offsets. So you may have some height offsets that you've changed from the machine value in your programs for doing different things. This cancels it. Alright? G80 cancels what we call a can cycle, so drilling, boring, tapping operations. If any of them are lingering as the last program, this G80 will kill it. So basically you won't have to worry about it. You don't get any surprises like trying to move your end mill up and down. It goes to try to tap a hole instead. Alright. And G90, absolute mode. Now in absolute mode, basically that means everything we type in dimension wise will be from a set 0. Which in this case, we're going to go right here in the middle of X0, Y0 as our code, as our position. Okay? So the next thing we do after that is we got to call up a tool. Alright? So T1 is the tool we're going to use. And it's a 3/8 end mill. So in this case, it'd be nice if I could spell. And then right after our T1, we got to tell it to change the tool. So that's an M6. Okay, so your M codes, I like to call them make code, because they make the machine do things like make it change the tool, make it turn on the coolant, make it turn the spindle on, make it turn the coolant off, make it stop the spindle. Alright. Our G codes, I like to refer to as a go code. Proper terminology for it is a preparatory command, but man, that's too big. Just go with go code. Right? Go in a line, go in a circle, go fast, go at the feed rate, go tap. Much simpler, much easier. Alright. Alright, so after we got our tool, we're going to start moving around here, okay? So G0, I know we've already done it once, but it's good practice. Put it in again. G54, which calls up our datum, what they call datum reference, so basically where we set our tool up to be, part up to be at 0, 0. Alright, and like I said, we're going to use X and Y 0. So our G54 is letting it know X and Y0 is our 0, 0 starting point. Okay. G90 for absolute, and because we're starting 1 inch away, X negative 1.0, and that decimal is important, and Y negative 1.0. Okay. Now the reason that decimal is important, you don't put it in. What it will do is it will move the decimal in front of the 1. So instead of going 1 inch, you're actually going to go decimal 0.0001 of an inch. So you ain't going to move very far at all. Alright? Okay, so we got our tool. We've set up our G54. That's 2000. That's basically a spindle speed of 2000 RPM. M3. Make the tool turn clockwise direction. Alright. G43 calls up our Z tool length, positive direction. H1, so it matches up with our T1. Okay, so it gives the tool height based on what reference is in the machine. Z 1.0, because we're going to start 1 inch above our part. Alright. So our next bit, we're going to wrap it down to Z 0.1, so we're 100 thou above the part. This gives you a better optic than the 1 inch one to make sure that your tool is actually at the height reference that it should be at. And M8, because we're going to make the coolant come on. Alright, so now we go to G1. And we're going to go Z negative 0.25. Actually, let's make that real clear. There you go. 0.25. Feed rate of 10 inches a minute. Okay. Now, our next bit, we're going to go to X0 from X negative 1. Feed rate of 30 inches a minute, because we're cutting aluminum in this case. Alright, so now we've moved over to X0, as you can see right here. Okay. And we're a 1/4 inch deep in the part. We haven't cut any material yet. This is still up in the air, right? Because our material is going to be over here. Alright, so our next one, Y 4.0. X 4.0. Y0. Now we could go to X0, which would take us right back to the corner here. But we're going to come back to where we started. Alright, so minus 1.0. And Y negative 1.0. And G0, Z 1.0, M9 to turn off our coolant, M5 to stop our spindle. Now, this one's a tricky one. G91, which is usually for absolute or for incremental. G28, Z0. This is telling the machine to get rid of the offsets for datum references and stuff and go to the machine at Z0. So it'll send the tool right up. Okay? G28Y0, this sends the machine to Y home location. Basically, it's going to pull that table right to the front door so you can open the doors and your vise is right there. Alright. M30, that tells the machine, basically, like I said, as a make code, so it's going to make the program rewind to the very beginning in case you got multiple parts. And then we got our percentage sign. Alright. So there's our program. You can see it right here. Okay, starting point goes up, around, the whole works. Now the good thing with Discriminator is if you actually click on these lines, it'll show you where it's going. See? It highlights it. Okay? So it highlights exactly what we've done. Alright, now y'all want to see how this looks in a real machine. I've got this cool piece of software from the people at CNC Simulator Pro. I put this program in. We're going to hit play. And you can watch it go. Now what I'm going to do first, I'm going to go to the controller and turn this up a bit so it moves a little quicker than it should. Alright. There we go. So now we're going to play. Alright, let's rotate that around so you can see a little better. Alright, and you can watch it cut. There it goes all the way up on the Y. And then going across on the X, and then down on the Y, and then across again on the X till we get back to that home position. And then when it gets to that Y location, you will see it shoot up on the Z, the 1 inch, and then all the way home. And then it comes to the table forward, so you're right there at the doors, open up and take that part out. Alright, so there's your basic concept of how to write a CNC program using G1 and G0, cutting a square block. Next lesson I put up, I'm going to go in incremental mode. We're going to do something similar. Again, just using G1, G0, but we'll add some angle lines in it and everything else. Alright? Okay, till next time, take care. It's the CNC Made Easy.